Well, thank you so much for coming and for organizing. I'm Marianne, and I'm going to talk about networking in a challenging job market, which is spot on because that's what we are in right now. So a little bit about me is I'm Marianne. I'm a software engineer. This is my coding persona, my Slack, not emoji, my Slack profile, my GitHub, everything. It's party time. It is. That is me online. And yeah, prior to Ginkgo, I was at the Bird Institute, which is how I got involved with GDG, not Android Cloud. Yeah, I've been coding for about almost 7 years now. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and how I got to where I am, because I actually studied geology and pivoted into tech, and a lot of it is thanks to networking and people. So yeah, we're going to talk about the current state of the world and tech jobs. We're going to go over some networking fundamentals, how to show up, reach out to people, how to make it easy for other people to help you, and then talk a little bit about your online persona, which is going to help as well, and how to keep your network active. So yeah, as I mentioned, this is not the best time to find a new job. There have been rampant layoffs. 2 days ago, I think Intel laid off 22,000 people, which is a very big number. Microsoft, Google in the past 10 days as well. Smaller companies also. So that makes for a much more competitive job market. AI applications are also completely overwhelming the positions that are open with resumes. So your traditional method of applying to jobs is going to be a little bit less effective. So even though networking helps all the time, networking helps especially right now, because people want to hire people that they know, that they trust. It's a really expensive process, and if they can avoid doing it as much as possible by hiring the right people from the get-go, everybody comes out on top. The other aspect is that there's this quote unquote hidden job market, which is just finding out about jobs before they're posted. 2 weeks ago, I met somebody who said that she is creating her own job at a new organization based on her skills, which is phenomenal, that's even possible. But the only reason that that is possible is because she knows people that trust her, believe in her, and want to create the best role for her to join their organization. So it really all comes down to people. So yes, that's why we're here talking about networking. And the first step, which you're all doing, is showing up. So thank you for coming. For me, that started off kind of as and I think for everybody, starts off in a difficult way. There are more times than I can remember where I was the only young person, woman in a room, the only geologist. I'm often the only geologist in a room. But over time, I've realized that that actually can be to my advantage, because people will remember me. So as an example, 5 years ago, I went to a networking event, and I think there were about 10 people there. We were all drinking beers at night shift, and it was me with a lot of middle-aged men. And I thought, what the heck am I doing here? I don't belong. I don't know about software. I've been coding for like 6 months. And then someone brought up a topic that I actually really cared about and felt passionate about. And so I spoke up, and we started having a good discourse. And by the end of the event, the person said, wow, well, if you're ever interested in looking for a new job, reach out to me. And I would love to, put you through the application process at my organization, because I really like what you were saying. And that kind of blew my mind, right? Because I just showed up, I didn't fit in. And ever since then, that person has remembered me because I was the only young woman that showed up at that event, and I spoke and I said what I believed, and it's memorable, right? You are different, and that makes you easy to remember. Let's see. Aside from showing up once, it helps to show up again and again and again, because eventually you will know the people who continually show up. You'll become familiar with them. And it's so much easier to enter a room when you know a few people there. You're immediately at ease. I went to Google Cloud Next 2 weeks ago. There are 30,000 people there. I felt comfortable because I knew 5 people out of the 30,000 people. I knew I had a group chat with women who I didn't know, but we had a group chat, and I knew that I could rely on them. We went out for dinner. So just having a few people that you know and can turn back to at any event, at a conference, in your career, and generally in your life, will help you tremendously. So show up. I also have a few key phrases and questions that I keep top of mind when I go to these events, just so that I know how to jump into a conversation, make it easy. People aren't trying to shut you out. Just be like, hey, I'm Marianne. This is what I do. Mind if I jump in with you? What are you guys talking about? More often than not, they feel exactly the way that you feel. They entered the conversation, and they will welcome you into it as well. Finally, this is a tip for myself, which may or may not apply to other people. One of the big reasons that I show up is because I give myself permission to leave, which is I will arrive, and if it goes well, that's great. I'm here, I'll stay. And if I'm not feeling it, I can go. I can stay 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. I can stay as long as I feel comfortable, but I can leave. And the most important part is that I showed up in the first place. So that helps me a lot, especially at the end of the day when I don't want to socialize or meet strangers. And maybe it'll help you too. So after showing up, you also want to keep in touch with the people that you met, which means connecting with them, preferably before you leave the event, unless you have an incredible memory for names and faces, and you can find them on LinkedIn afterwards. So again, that's just an easy memorized sentence in my head. I loved our conversation. I would love to stay in touch. Do you mind to connect? They're trying to connect too. That's why they're at a networking event. They're going to say yes. And then the most important part after that is following up. And the reason that I do that is because I have connections on LinkedIn, and I'm like, where on earth did I meet this person? Who is this person? But if I message them the day after and I say, hey, it was so nice to meet you at the International Women's Day event hosted by Google GDG Android, then I know, because I'll check the message and I'll be like, okay, that's where we met. Or like, it was so great to talk to you about X topic. It really resonated. Then I know why we connected in the first place, what we talked about. So that comes in handy. Aside from the people that you're going to meet face to face, a lot of the people that will help you are people that you've never met and that you want something from. And so that's cold outreach. And a few ways, and I think I actually have a few ways that help for that are obviously relying on your network. You know someone who knows them, ask for help. But if you are just going to reach out to them, figure out what you want from them, how they can help you, and just be really clear about what that means. And don't be afraid to ask, because one of the things I was scared about, and sometimes still am, is who am I to reach out to this director of whatever? Why on earth would they help me? And then someone once told me, if they don't want to help you, they'll say no, right? Or they just won't respond. They have agency, and so it doesn't hurt for you to just ask. Which sounds silly, but I hadn't considered it, so I figure other people may not consider it either. It doesn't hurt to ask. And if they say no, that's okay. So if you do reach out to them, you want to increase your odds of them helping you, responding, acknowledging, getting you whatever it is that you were looking for in the first place. So I personally use a template where I try to give them as much information as possible and as concise a way as I can. So who am I? Why am I reaching out to you? Because, oh, you're a Tufts alum, you work at this company. I'd love to hear about the company. How can you help me? A 30-minute call, a 5-minute call. If you know them, can we grab coffee? But just be really concise and clear about what you're expecting from them. Because if you give an open-ended statement of, oh, I'm interested in your company, and kind of leave it open-ended, they may not know what that entails. So they'll be less comfortable saying yes, right? You want to lower the cognitive load necessary. You want to make it so easy for them to say, wow, that's so easy. Of course, yes, I'll help you. 30 minutes, it's done. And there you go. Once you do have the call, you want to make sure that that context is reiterated to them, because so often I'll have a call with somebody and I will not remember why I'm here, what they wanted from me. Or sometimes I'll have a call with somebody in 30 minutes and I'll say, oh, why am I talking to this person? And so at the start of the call, just reiterate exactly what you said in your message. I'm a software engineer. I'm interested in your company. I also graduated from Tufts. I'm interested in like-minded people. I'm interested in hearing your point of view as a like-minded person about the company that you're working for, because I'm interested in a position. So just reiterate so that you're all on the same page at the start of your connection. If you reached out to them, make sure that you're leading to make it easy for them to continue to help you. Yeah. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It is a strategic strength. If you do it correctly, if you just send out messages into the universe, people may not take you so seriously. So again, be clear, be concise, know what you want, and do put it out there. Because if you don't, you're never going to get the help, right? So what also helps when reaching out to people is if you already have a networking system in place. And what I mean by that is an online presence that people can refer back to. So you ask them a question, they're going to say, okay, who is this? They're going to look you up. What's the first thing that comes up when you type your name into your search engine? You want to create a presence that reiterates your story or tells the story that you want to tell to people who are searching for you. And that's really important, because if they have an answer to your question, or if they know someone who's hiring and you're looking for a job and it matches the criteria, maybe they'll send it to their friend. They'll be like, hey, this person looks like they might be a good match for your company. Why don't you check out their profile? They send your profile, which is already built with everything you want people to know about. And it's easy. You're not even doing any work anymore. You're not even in the picture. Your profile is online and accessible to everybody. So I have LinkedIn up right now, but that, some people have GitHub projects or that they want to share. I have a bunch of Slack communities that I'm a part of. I'm not active in all of them. I pick a few that have similar interests to my own interests, and I'm very active and consistent in those because it helps me create strong ties with the community. And again, even if you're not too active, if you've been there for a long time, you just kind of fit in, right? Because consistency and time naturally make people mesh if you're just slightly active. A way that you can use consistency that has helped me a lot is with the Donut app, which, oh my gosh, everybody go use the Donut app. If it's in any of your Slack channels, just use it. I have met so many random people across the entire world, in the US, in Boston. I'm probably in like 5 different Donut Slack channels. And I actually met somebody who thought, oh, why don't you go talk to Jeff? I think he would be a good person for you to talk to about this topic. And I spoke to Jeff, and Jeff said, wow, why don't you go talk to Emily? So he connected me to Emily. Emily has been my mentor for 4 years, and she has completely changed my life. And I would never have met her if it were not for the RANS Slack community and the donut application, because I wouldn't have met Josh, who wouldn't have introduced me to Jeff, who wouldn't have introduced me to Emily, which is this like crazy chain of events, but it has completely changed my life. And she's like still helping me to this day. I meet with her regularly. So don't underestimate, you don't know what's out there. So yeah, aside from building your online presence, you want to have a way to nurture your network. So after you've met someone at a conference that you were really interested in, you sent them the message, you remember, how you met, you need to follow up with them in 6 months, if assuming you want to really connect with this person, right? You need to follow up with them in 6 months, or maybe once a year, right? I sent a message to Josh and was like, hey, by the way, that connection you made 2 years ago or 4 years ago now, it turned into something really meaningful for me. I just wanted to let you know, let's get coffee and catch up. And it's just like a little, maybe it's 15 minutes, it's 30 minutes, but that again is increasing the consistency across your network that makes it, if ever you have a question, they're more likely to answer you because they trust you, because you've been around, right? I call it my personal CRM. It's actually just this like huge Google Doc, as you can see on the right. But you really need to have an organized way of keeping track of the conversations you have, because you're not going to remember. You might remember a few people, you might remember the important ones, but if in 5 years you're like, oh, Shannon, that rings a bell. I think I spoke to her. What did you talk to her about? How did you meet? I mean, even a job interview, it's like, how did you hear about this job? I have no idea is not a good answer. So write it down. I keep what we actually talk about, and then I also keep personal tidbits, because you want to go beyond the transactional nature of the conversation you're having. They mentioned they're on vacation, so they can't meet you for 2 weeks. That's fine. When you meet them, say, hey, how was your vacation? People love when you remember them. And if you feel empathy for them and show that, you're paying attention, they in turn will feel empathy for you, because that's human nature. And so again, they'll be more likely to help you. As silly as it is, just write it down. Their kid is sick, write it down. How's your kid? Is your kid better? You missed the train? I don't know. I don't know about missing the train, but like anything goes, right? Just make sure that you're remembering them. It's so easy. It takes 1 second to write it down. So that kind of covers it. We talked about it being rough out there. Good luck to I don't know when you're graduating. Congrats to you guys. I hope you are all set. Show up, which you're doing. Reach out to everybody in this room tomorrow. If you haven't connect with them after the talks. Make it easy. If you want something, if you want a job at my company, let me know. Tell me who you are, why you want my help, what I can do to help you, and I'll say yes, because I love helping people. Most people love helping people because it makes them feel good. They got helped and they want to give back. Only if it's easy. So that covers it.
Thank you, Marianne.
Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
I feel like conference, right? And you met somebody, you connected with them. You know when you met them, because you actually quite intro, like, otherwise I forget, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, it's kind of how to keep habits, like, kind of keep in contact with them, so you don't live in the same city, but it's not necessarily asking for a job, but you kind of want to stay connected at some level. Like, how do you approach that? You don't want to be like, oh, hi, how are you? Like, happy holiday, right? But it's not weird, because you haven't touched like 6 months, right? So in that case, like, what do you recommend? I've seen like, oh, I have there's people I'm like, oh, I could connect with them, but like, I don't. At some point, it kind of like, it's awful, like, to approach them again.
Yeah, that's a great question. So you can't keep in touch with everybody, so you have to pick and choose. But if there is someone that you connected with, something clearly made you think of them again, right? So what I generally do is, I'm thinking of this person. Why am I thinking of them? And then I'll just write a message. hey, this happened. It made me think of you. Do you want to catch up? I'd love to hear how you're doing, what's new in your life. So that's an easy way, oh my gosh, they're thinking about me. That's great. Of course I want to think about them and know what's going on. It's an easy way to start up a conversation. The holidays are a good method. During Thanksgiving, I'm just like, thank you so much for everything you've ever done for me. It works. New Year also.
Yeah, I'm a little old school. I do Christmas cards and things.
Yeah.
And there are triggers. A lot of the time I'll find people lose their job and then they reach out. And I can't necessarily help them, but I'm always happy to hear from them. And I do the same thing. If I'm leaving a position, I try to get everybody that I work with at that job onto my LinkedIn. And then they'll know where I am, where I'm going, and what I'm doing. And if you put yourself out there, like stepping up to the mic, doing talks, being a leader and a volunteer, then it's flies to honey or something like that. You attract people to come to you, not just having to reach out, but finding people will reach out to you. Amal has a question.
I think just to piggyback on that point, I would just add, in today's world of noise, I think authenticity is really like just be yourself. Like it's not necessarily bring your baggage to the internet, right? But like be authentic and your mission, and just kind of like be yourself. Like there's something to say for us in the world of kind of Gen AI and everything, right? So just don't forget human fingerprint.
Right on. So we're gonna be speaking. Our next speaker is.
Thank
here.
you.
We're gonna switch around, and Reen will introduce herself in a minute or two. Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was great.
No, I'm glad.
Okay, so for you, we're gonna switch it out a little.
Did not have like any.
You're gonna crush it.
So I
don't know.
I'm actually very impressed that you're not doing slides. I feel excited.
Like literally, like in my workplace, we don't have like it's just like traditional print.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Reen.
Hi everyone. So thanks for this opportunity. I'm really honored to be here. So just for my introduction, so I'm Rain. I'm a global makers ambassador for like about 8 months already, and I I'm a graduating student at MIT, so I'm still in my final year. So right now, what really shaped my career wasn't just about what I studied, but also the trust I built with people and the influence I earned, and of course, the connections that I nurtured. So I want to talk about three things here, like trust, influence, and connection. And let me start to tell you guys like my personal story. So last month, I had a chance to organize like an event in Silicon Valley. So it's similar like the International Women's Day. So I went to Google Sunnyvale, and we didn't have like a big budget, and we worked quietly. I work with different teams in Silicon Valley, and I led like a campaign. It's kind of like you're posting a reel on social media, and then it went viral. So it went to like 1 million people. So it reached like 1 million people. And then Google went to me saying like, hey, like, thank you so much for promoting this and stuff. And surprisingly, like after that, Google reached out to me and they referred me, like some Googlers referred me to a role there. It's for like strategic partnerships role. So what I learned like throughout my career, yeah, it's kind of like related to what Marianne actually mentioned. It's more of like getting yourself out there, exposing yourself to the right people, and opportunities come to you automatically. You don't really need to beg for opportunities, or like sometimes you can ask for help, but at the same time you want to expose yourself to the right people. And so if they can see that you're working on yourself, they know your work ethic, they will speak for you. So that's my experience. And then like despite of this job market though, like I know like there are a lot of people who don't get jobs and all of these things, and it's really really important to connect with people and to be referred by people and stuff. Based on my experience, it's quite the contrast. So let's say because right now, since I'm graduating, I'm also like looking for jobs, looking for opportunities, but I did not spend my year just by applying to hundreds of jobs. That's not like my strategy at all. I spend my year like going to parties, going to dinners with people, going to coffee chats, which were, I would say, were more effective than like just applying for jobs, building my resumes. Just imagine there are thousands of people like, applying for jobs out there. And yeah, so last March I got some results. So for I already told you like about the Google role, and then I also got a referral for Amazon for a senior manager role, and then for Apple operations analyst, ServiceNow operations analyst. So those came like from referrals. And right now I'm working in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and it's also a referral. So everything is a referral to me. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that you're not you cannot like apply for jobs, but I do think that it's more effective to be referred by a person who can speak for you. Yeah, so that's my my personal story. So yeah, so I want to talk about like trust here. So for me, like trust is like you're building like this like slowly with people, like not thinking like it's kind of like transactional. So let's say for example like, oh, I want to land at this company. So for example, it's a FANG company. I want to go to Amazon. I want to talk to an Amazon person, right? It's not like you're going to just go to her like, oh, ask like, oh, can you refer me to a job? Like usually my strategy is really like connecting, building relationship with that person, and showing up for like like no, they need to know like how I work. So for example, like I need to connect with, let's say, a person with a a person from Amazon, from FAANG companies, but I will make sure that like, you know, they know my work, they know how I work. So sometimes I just look for mentors, like, you know, just be creative, like on how you connect with these people, like on how you land to, you know, desired companies. Because like, you know, like let's say for mentorships, right? Like I choose mentors from the companies that I want to, you know, I want to go to. So when I got those mentors, so, you know, I always show up. So they are automatically, you know, saying to me like, hey, like I want to refer you for this role. You're fitted for this role. I don't need to actually like ask them, oh, can you refer me? Can you refer me and stuff. So I think that's like how I present myself to people. Like I just don't ask like literally like, you know, like for help, like for a certain position, but I want to expose how I work like to people, so that like, so that they can speak about like how I work. Oh, this person actually always like, you know, show up on time. They're actually good at what they do. They're good in like, let's say data analytics, they're good in data science. And so when that person refer you to like to a colleague or to a certain department, then they can tell something about you, not just who you are, your title, and your job and responsibilities in your past companies. So yeah, so that's about like trust. And then second one is influence. So in relation with what Marianne mentioned, it's really important to have like a brand, like to build your brand online, like LinkedIn, if you have like social media. So it's really good to just like put yourself out there. So it's not just about like, you know, like messaging, but also like you want to get attention so that people come to you, not you people, not you coming to people, most likely. So, and also you know, you can like give talks, do volunteering, just expose yourself to people. Like even like, you know, in Boston there are a lot of like, you know, events here, like hackathons, for example. You can work with people like from different parts of the world. So I do think that's really effective to show how you work. And who knows, like, you know, those people you work in the hackathon, those people who, you know, you met in conferences, those are the people who will, you know, refer you in the future. So you don't know. So I do think that it's really important to connect in that manner, rather than the traditional ones. So yeah. And the last part is connection. So connection is what ties it all together. So it's not just about professional networking, need to be present, supporting someone, supporting people, like celebrating their wins, you know, just helping people. Like I do think that, you know, like asking for something, it would be better like if you give something to people before you receive. Like I do think that, you know, like people are more than willing to help you if you are giving something to people and you're contributing to the society. They can see that. So yeah, and they will remember you, your stories, your struggles, and their dreams. So that's how connection works. And yeah, so that's all for me. And here's my general challenge for you. So build trust, build relationships, I would say, even when it's slow. Lead with influence, not authority, and nurture connections, not for gain, but for growth. So that's it for me. Any questions?
I was thinking, you were talking about karma, right? What you give is what you get.
Yeah,
And I think that's a relevant thing to talk about and to be out there for other people.
Yes.
And not just for yourself.
exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Lee.
Mm-hmm.